All right, let's jump right in. We're about to talk about a technology that could totally rewrite our relationship with information, with memory, maybe even with life itself. We're talking about storing all of humanity's data in the oldest, densest, and most durable hard drive on the planet, DNA.
Just think about it for a second. Everything, every movie ever made, every book, every song, every single cat video, every byte of data sitting on every server all across the globe.
Now, what if you could take all of that and store it in something you could literally hold in the palm of your hand? I know, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but the blueprint for this massive revolution, it's already here.
So how in the world is this even possible? How do you take a digital file, a movie, a picture, and turn it into a biological molecule? Well, it turns out nature has been working on perfecting information storage for, about 4 billion years.
Yeah, we all know DNA. It's the code of life, right? The molecule that builds everything from a tiny bacterium to a giant blue whale. But if you strip all that away, at its very core, DNA is just an information system. It's a physical storage device, and it's more sophisticated than anything we've ever built.
And the basic idea is actually surprisingly simple. You know how computers speak in a two-letter language? It's binary, just ones and zeros. Well, DNA uses a four-letter language, the nucleotide bases, A, T, C, and G. So to store digital data in DNA, we really just need to translate from one language to the other.
And here's pretty much how it works, in 3 basic steps. First, you've got software that encodes your binary data, your ones and zeros, into a DNA sequence. Think of it like a digital translator. Second, a special machine called a DNA synthesizer physically prints that code. It builds actual DNA molecules, strand by strand. And then finally, to get the data back, a sequencer does the complete opposite. It reads all the A's, T's, C's, and G's and translates them right back into ones and zeros.
Okay, so we know it can be done. But why? Why would we go to all this trouble? Well, the advantages are they're absolutely mind-boggling. And they really come down to 3 big things: density, durability, and efficiency. And let's start with density, because this one's a jaw-dropper.
So, I want you to picture just 1 single gram of synthetic DNA. I mean, it's a tiny little speck. You could barely even see it.
That 1 gram, that tiny speck, can theoretically store 215 petabytes of data. That is enough to stream high-def video for over 20,000 years without stopping. To put that another way, the entire digital archive of all of humanity could fit into a space about the size of a big refrigerator. Okay, next up, durability. Our fancy hard drives, they can fail in just 5 years. But DNA? If you keep it in a cool, dry place, it can last for millennia. I mean, we've successfully pulled DNA sequences from mammoths that died tens of thousands of years ago. So this isn't just theory, it's a proven fact.
And the third advantage is efficiency. Our data centers are massive energy hogs. They use about 1.5% of all global electricity, and that number is set to triple by 2030. DNA storage, on the other hand, once it's synthesized, uses 0 power. It just sits there, stable. It could practically wipe out the enormous carbon footprint of our digital world. So if this stuff is so amazing, why isn't everything already stored on DNA? Well, like with any game-changing technology, there are some pretty significant hurdles we need to clear first.
Right now, the 2 biggest showstoppers are cost and speed. It costs thousands of dollars just to synthesize a single megabyte, and the whole process of writing the data and then reading it back can take hours. So it's just not practical for the files on your laptop, at least not yet. But here's the thing. There is a huge reason to be optimistic. What you're looking at is called the Carlson curve. You can think of it like Moore's law, but for biology. Just look at the cost difference. In 2001, it cost $100 million to sequence 1 human genome. Today, it's less than $200. If the cost of writing DNA follows a similar crazy downward spiral, this tech could become affordable much, much sooner than we think.
And if we do get over those barriers, well, the implications aren't just an evolution of what we have now. They're truly revolutionary. This is where we go from just a better storage solution to a complete shift in how we see the world.
Forget about that refrigerator. The entire text collection of the Library of Congress could be encoded into a speck of DNA so small you couldn't even see it with your naked eye. Physical space would mean nothing for storing information. Now, Think about this for a second. We could create these time capsules with all of human knowledge and code them into DNA and just send them into space. They could survive for millions of years, way longer than any silicon chip ever could. They'd be like a genetic Rosetta Stone for any intelligent life that might stumble upon them.
And this is where it gets even wilder. We could move beyond just storage and into what's called DNA computing. So instead of using silicon circuits, you'd use trillions of molecules in a single drop of water to do calculations all at the same time. It's a level of parallel processing that is almost impossible to imagine. We're literally talking about computers that are alive.
And that brings us to the last and maybe the most profound part of this whole story. Because when we start merging the code of computers with the code of life, we have to ask some really deep questions.
You see, once data is stored in a medium that can copy itself and can mutate, it's not just passive information anymore. It starts to take on the properties of life itself, and that opens up a whole new universe of risks we've never had to think about before.
I mean, think about cybersecurity. Scientists have already created a proof-of-concept DNA malware, a biological virus that can actually hack a computer. Then you've got the problem of data integrity. What happens if our historical archives start to mutate, literally erasing or rewriting our past? We'd also have brand new questions about bioprivacy. If data is stored inside a living cell, who actually owns it? And then there's the biggest question of all. Could information start to replicate and evolve all on its own, creating some new form of digital life that we can't control?
And that really is the ultimate question here. We're not just talking about a better hard drive. We're talking about a future where our technology becomes completely indistinguishable from our biology, where human memory and life's code are written in the exact same language. And maybe that's the most powerful way to look at it. This whole journey wouldn't just be some incredible technological achievement. In a way, it would be the completion of a cycle. It would be our art, our science, our entire civilization folded right back into the very molecule that created us, preserved for an eternity, the ultimate archive.